long-awaited, the food is here. The corned beef platter.
Look at the Irish.
Iconic for St. Patty's Day.
So what do we have here? We have some cabbage, some carrots, some potatoes.
Gigantic whole red potatoes here. Oh, look,
Yeah.
hey, it's moving. The carrot's on the move. So I like this. It's nice, chunky, rustic cuts. Rustic cuts are generally like when it's not necessarily like a sloppy cut, but like a big cut. Like almost like back in the day, like the Irish settlers, they were cutting things like this, or almost like not cutting at all with the red potatoes here, right? And you got a big chunk of cabbage here, right?
Lightly seasoned.
And then, honestly, I think there's like a quarter pound of corned beef.
It's a lot of meat, man. It's
All
a
right.
lot of meat. We're gonna go dig in and see how it tastes.
You know, the good thing about these rustic cuts is that you can use a fork and knife, and it kind of makes it feel like a finer dining experience, right? Because like you ever see people eat with a fork and knife on a salad?
Exactly.
Like it's kind of like that. Like when you have a Caesar salad at a fine restaurant, it's like the whole romaine lettuce, and you use your fork and knife to eat it, right?
Exactly. And to me, like corned beef growing up is more of like the canned corned beef. So when I thought corned beef, I always was kind of expecting something like, you know, mushed up, but this is.
You know, corned beef in a can is still expensive when you go to the Asian grocery store, right?
There's some gourmet ones.
It's like $6 to $8 for like one of those. It's like the one that we used to get is that Australian corned beef.
Is it ox and palm or
That
palm?
one, yeah,
Palm?
that one.
Definitely.
All right, how do we compare that?
So you can see there's a little bit of fat here, nice and salty. Great flavor with the fat.
It's good. You know what? I wouldn't mind this over like a bed of rice.
Of course, man.
Next time,
Garlic rice even.
BYOR, okay? Bring your own rice next time.
Should have looked into the history of like Irish and the corned beef and why they've always had to do this. You might have to look it up in terms of
All right,
why it's part of the tradition.
I'm completely guessing here, okay? But I think the corning process preserves the meat longer. Like, you know how like when like settlers, if they're on the ocean for like weeks, right? When you salt the meat, when you salt the fish, you preserve it and it lasts longer. So it extends the shelf life, right? What do you think?
As expected, you know, nice salty piece of beef with some fat. You know, especially for something like that's mass produced for an event like this, you can't really expect like, you know, gourmet style, but it hits the spot.
You know, that's a good point, because when you're feeding 200 people, you have to prep. You have to cook ahead of time, and you have to keep it on a warmer, right? So this corned beef wasn't made 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
It was probably made like an hour ago. And usually when they keep it warm, it's in some kind of like steamer. It's like a steam cabinet. Like almost like when you go to like a cafeteria style, they have it like with the hot water boiling underneath, and that the steam keeps it warm at the top. Versus like if they kept it on like a hot warmer that's like induction heat or whatever, then it might dry it out.
Exactly.
And the corned beef
good amount of
relatively moist. I would almost compare this almost to like if you haven't had this before, almost like a brisket, right?
Yeah,
But that's
definitely.
almost like a barbecue brisket, but without the barbecue flavor. It's that iconic like corning flavor, right? It's corned beef.
It's still tender. It's not like overly like chewy. I enjoy the simplicity of it. You know, it's just kind of like basically cured meat.
It's like something that's necessary to really feel part of the festivities for St. Patty's Day, right?
Exactly. And I think the pairing with the basic pairing with the potatoes and the carrots, it's just literally it's like meat and potatoes. You know, the term meat and potatoes really comes through. It's just a classic meal that you can eat. It gets the job done.
I like what you said with the simplicity, the meat and potatoes, the simplicity of just a potato, a corned beef, a cabbage, a carrot. They don't try to do anything too special, not too heavy on the seasonings.
Yeah.
Really just like an S&B, like salt and pepper and whatever corning spices it is, and makes it a complete meal. You got all the food groups here.
Exactly, pretty much. You got your veggies, you got your starches, you got your protein.
No
You're
dairy.
good to go. Yeah, no dairy.
We'll wait for dessert.
Exactly.
And that's coming next, all right? We'll see you then.